Some of you may be disappointed in me for cogging with a degenerate deck like Mekk Knights, but in my defense, I never play tier 1 decks, and this wasteland of a meta ain't leaving me many options when surprise present is cock-blocking BA and Infernoids just existing tanks more decks than not. What I'm saying is, I'm playing this deck because I got a Prisma Purple Nightfall, damn it, and that's the only reason why. So here's the deck profile, please forgive me. Mekk Knight Purple Nightfall is the perfect poster boy, gleaming with that main character energy. Level 8 light psychic who can special summon himself from the hand to a column that has 2 or more cards in it. On the field, he has a quick effect to banish himself to search a Mekk Knight monster. He then returns to your field during the following standby phase. Hard once per turn on his summon and his effect. His summon may sound difficult or situational at first, but it's easy to proc, actually surrounded by the right support, or it's just completely effortless going second. Purple search effect is very strong as it can search Mekk Knights for your appropriate situation or just to go plus, especially since the rest of the Mekk Knights can also special summon themselves. I run him at 2 copies, I did run him at 3, and you will see him at 3 a whole bunch, but personally I didn't find it necessary in the end. Mekk Knight Blue Sky can be a crazy strong extender, allowing you to go +2. Level 5 Light Psychic has the same ability as Nightfall to special summon himself to a column with 2 or more cards in it on a hard once per turn. That will be a running theme for all the Mekk Knights. Then, when Blue Sky is normal or special summoned from the hand, you can add Mekk Knight monsters from your deck to your hand equal to the number of cards your opponent controls in the same column that you summon Blue Sky in. It's a maximum of 2, it's not hard to pull off, even just getting 1 is really good. Blue Sky can search all the Mekk Knights so you can swarm the field and either control your opponent or push for lethal. Even though the sight and the name of the man gets like 3 songs stuck in my head at the same time, I gotta respect his excessively good effect and excessively good design. Running at 2 copies. Mekk Knight Indigo Eclipse is my personal favorite of the bunch, aesthetically anyway. Just looks like a big awkward frisbee stuck in Earth's gravitational pull, and he's pissed about it. Level 8 Light Psychic, he can do the same special summon, and then on a soft once per turn, he can target any Mekk Knight you control and move it to another column of yours. This is a quick effect. It ends up being a very strong and versatile effect for the deck, to the point where some players hate seeing this card more than any other main deck monster, and facilitates rank 8 plays alongside Purple Nightfall, running it 2. Red Moon is the muscle. Every group needs one, and I'm pretty sure I caught my man in the latest Old Spice commercial. That makes sense. Purple Nightfall is carrying around light work, and Red Moon is carrying around whoa buddy, calm down. I feel the same way about Red Moon as I do for Barbar and Burning Abyss. Even though they're sidekicks in their decks, they are game-ending muscle. Same special summon, but also Red Moon can banish a Mekk Knight from your graveyard to pop a face-up monster in Red Moon's column. His effect is not once per turn so long as you have Mekk Knights in the graveyard to banish. Be careful though, because he can target himself with this effect. Man is a cleaner, here to pave the way to lethal. They're running at 1 as he is situational but searchable. Yellow Star struck me at first as being nothing but a side man in the archetype to start, but he's as good, if not better, than Red Moon. Level 7 Light Psychic, same special summon ability of course. With Yellow Star, you can banish a Mekk Knight from your grave to target and destroy a spell or trap card in Yellow Star's column. Another cleaner, but also provides inherent back row removal for the archetype, giving them more deck building versatility, as Yellow Star is of course searchable. I think it's also worth noting that he's the thickest of the bunch at 2800 squat points, running him at 1 copy as well. Mekk Knight Avram is another Mekk Knight name in the deck and an actual normal summon, just in case you brick. Avram takes more focus and rescue rabbit variants of Mekk Knights, but he's fine at 1 copy here. Swap Cleric is the good old chap that's getting us going. Level 2 Earth Cybers, if he's used as a link material, you can have that link monster lose 500 attack to draw 1 card. It's a hard once per turn. Now thankfully, the rank 1 Link Disciple is a thing, requiring just 1 level 4 lower Cybers monster, and what do you know, Swap Cleric is effectively the normal summon of the deck every time. The idea is to set up Link Disciple in your extra monster zone and go plus off Swap Cleric to then fill your spell and trap card zone that's in line with the EMZ, giving you 2 cards in a column with an open monster zone for Purple Nightfall, all without any help from the opponent. But he does come up as a link material for Mekk Knight of Morningstar too, which getting that draw is always always good. A neat little engine for the deck, and honestly was one of the bigger things that appealed me to it because Swap Cleric is Gen X controller levels of adorable. World Legacy's Memory is a quick play spell for the archetype, and it's kind of really strong. Can straight up special summon a Mekk Knight from your hand or deck in defense mode. Like, for free. Returns to your hand during the end phase and locks you into Mekk Knights for the rest of the turn on a hard once per turn. Not much in the way of downsides considering you just get a free summon from the deck. It single-handedly can cause the deck to unbrick. I mean, it's not negating their effects or anything either, so Purple Nightfall has already pieced out in his Nightfall nightclub up in the banish zone, and he'll come back when he's good and ready. And it being a quick play means you can use it defensively or just go plus during your opponent's turn by using it during their end phase, summoning Nightfall, banishing and searching, and then you'll just get Nightfall back during your standby phase where you can use his effect again. Or alternatively make a rank 8, link 2, whatever. When this deck is consistent, it can put you in some serious advantageous positions. World Legacy's Key is a continuous spell that adds a banished Mekk Knight back to your hand on activation. Passively on the field, it negates any of your opponent's trap effects that activate in the same column as a Mekk Knight you control. With a full board of Mekk Knights, and dropping this card can guarantee a push for lethal. Searchable again, as well as situational. Some Mekk Knight players choose not to run it at all, but in my opinion, when it's good, it's damn good and can win games. Alright, we're here. Hey kid, try and play around skill drain in a 3-zone format when this big ass frisbee is just moving zones and you couldn't play through a single interruption anyway. World Legacy Secret is the kind of card that gives archetypes bad reputations. Mekk Knights would be so much cooler if they didn't have this card as a stain on their archetype. But it is the reason they're tier 1, and to deny the card's strength is foolish. Continuous trap limited to 1, which honestly doesn't say much as a restriction considering how strong the card is. When it's activated, you can target a Mekk Knight in the grave and special summon it, and passively on the field, it negates all monster effects activated in the same column as Mekk Knights you control. So your first thought is, well, I'll just summon my Deep Sea Diva to a zone that doesn't have a Mekk Knight. Oh no, wait, now back up. Since Secret summons a Mekk Knight from the grave on its activation, you can wait for an opponent to activate a monster effect, chain Secret, summon the Mekk Knight to that column, and that effect will be negated. And paired with Indigo Eclipse, you can set up 2 negates per turn, since Indigo can just move himself over to a different column that your opponent attempts to use. Ridiculously easy. Or just have Mekk Knights in every column, that does the trick too. This card is pretty degenerate. It's not crazy overpowered tier 0 problem level or anything like that. It's just not fun. Even as the pilot of the deck, I can say Mekk Knights are a lot more fun when they're comboing and not controlling. But look, when there's 200 gems at stake, anything goes. Staples, I run Compulse for a little more disruption. I also tried Crackdown and Cosmic Cyclone for general back row removal, but specifically to out an opponent's Secret in the mirror match. Extra deck. Mekk Knight of Morningstar, badass. Light level 2 machine requiring 2 monsters including at least 1 Mekk Knight. When he's link summoned, you can discard a Mekk Knight or a World Legacy card to add a World Legacy spell or trap from your deck to your hand. I mentioned that both Key and Secret are searchable, and this is how. Adding on the ease of going into Morningstar basically means Key, Secret, and even Memory are yours when you want them. Hard once per turn on that search though. Then while Morningstar is on the field, Mekk Knights you control cannot be destroyed by battle, and you take no battle damage involving them if they're battling a monster in a different column. A lot of people seem to forget about that one. You'll find yourself ending on Morningstar a lot. He really isn't a bad turn 1 monster to leave there due to his battle effect, but you know, having skill drain helps. Link Disciple is the main combo extender of this build. Link 1 requiring a level 4 or lower Cyburst monster, such as Swap Cleric. On the field, it can tribute a monster at points 2 to draw 1 card and then place a card from your hand to the bottom of the deck. You will rarely, in stupid, desperate situations, ever use that effect. He's just here so he can proc Cleric's draw effect and set himself up in the extra monster zone in the same column as the skill's Ancient Geared Castle or another back row that you have, where you will then have 2 cards in the same column that also conveniently has an open monster zone for a Mekk Knight summon. Then you can link him away into Morningstar. Like, yeah, like when I said extender, I meant it. Like, this is the middleman to end all middlemen. Brute Enforcer is the best link staple in the game as of me writing this, which by the time that you're watching it, that title probably belongs to Nightmare Phoenix now. You can discard a card to target any face-up card on the field and destroy it. Now, your opponent has the option to negate this effect by discarding the same type of card. So if you're destroying a monster, your opponent can discard a different monster to negate it, or a spell for a spell. Either way, Brute Enforcer is taking resources away from your opponent and can be really good for the mirror match too. Made super easily in this deck, you'll never see him until later game, but still a good toolbox option. Decode Talker is the only rank 3 we're using. We can make him by using Morningstar as 2 materials usually. Never ideal for the first few turns, but Decode is another card that can come clean up and even take control of the later game. The Photon Package. Nightfall and Indigo are both level 8. This archetype summons Exceed materials like no one else's business. Match made in heaven. The usual turn 3 or 4 for Mekk Knights that pretty much ends games every time. We talked about Red Moon and muscle, but sometimes the protein is short in supply and we need muscle on a galactic level. I pop this and win. Middle-aged Mechs is a classic skill that gets used for a variety of wonky fun things. And its latest claim to fame is being an unoptimal skill for a tier 1 deck. Adds Ancient Gear Castle face up to your field at the start of your turn. You get to choose which column it goes in. So like I mentioned earlier, paired with Link Disciple can get you completely set up off a single swap cleric summon. For going second, you could throw it in the same lane as an opponent's monster. Sucks that you're clogging your spell and trap zones, but this deck is kind of constantly fighting against that downside anyway. The real shitty thing is, you have to use this guy. So there we are, an archetype I love with a playstyle I hate using a character I hate. But that's what it's all about, challenge and perseverance. You stick around for 70 games listening to nothing but and tell me that you ain't cracked. Going first, you're really hoping to see Swap Cleric. If you get him, you can pull off the Link Disciple combo, draw a card, and usually follow up with Purple Nightfall. Nightfall can then banish himself to search Blue Sky, which if you're going second will allow you to plus off of his summon. So going first, it might actually be better to search Indigo and use him as the other Link material for Morningstar. That way he's in the grave as a secret target. Either way, you make the Flaming Lips album cover reject and pitch a card to search Skill Drain, set it and your other back row if applicable, and bam. You are now set up with Secret on the field, and Indigo is a target who can move himself so you can get multiple monster negates, and Morningstar is protecting the battle phase. Throwing a Crackdown Compulse, yeah, good luck. A lot of games just end right here, and that might be the only unfair thing about this deck. Players staring down this board turn 2 and just saying, yeah, nah. If you don't open Swap Cleric, you can still push to make Morningstar and then maybe search Memory. You have to utilize your special summons and maybe Mekk Knight Avram, but sometimes you will open nothing but high-level Mekk Knights and just lose. That is the deck's biggest weakness. It is capable of bricking, and when it does, it's really bad. It's different in the Surprise Present variant. That one is more consistent in my opinion, but this one is more affordable and less degenerate. So going second, the world is at your fingertips. Sometimes your opponent neatly puts 2 cards in the same column for you, so you could just instantly summon Blue Sky and search 2, or bluff with that and go into Swap Cleric, or vice versa. Search purple, special summon, search, exceed, whatever your situation is calling for. Generating advantage is easy for this deck, and sometimes it gets so advantageous that you can literally just play through everything your opponent has without needing back row removal. But you get it anyway with Yellow Star and Key if need be. Going second is where you might search Key with Morningstar instead of Secret, and it has the potential to be equally as devastating. Overall, this deck is strong, tier 1 vibes for sure. I don't think it's problematic per se, just unfun to go against. I don't think anyone really dislikes the archetype itself, but how it's built and played in Duel Links. Because this artwork bangs so much that it's basically an objective fact confirmed by Da Vinci himself. So that's gonna do it for this video. I thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next